Good morning and welcome to the April 2017 edition of the Respond Customer Service Webinar Series. The Respond Customer Service Webinar Series is held the second Tuesday of every month at 10:30 a.m. Central Time. So we get today's webinar started. A couple of housekeeping items for using your dashboard. If you are having difficulty with audio, you can either use your mic and speakers to connect, or if you want to dial in with your telephone, you can click the telephone button in your dashboard and then dial the number that's selected there. This is the point in time where we would normally tell you that if you want to ask questions during the webinar, to enter those questions into the dashboard. However, this week's webinar is pre-recorded, so we won't be able to take any live questions today. Our topic today is the billing 5.14 release. I'm Dan Voss. I am the product manager for Respond and Tritech.com billing. Since we're not taking any live questions today, I've put my email address here on the title slide, so you can shoot me an email, and we'll try to get if you have any questions at the end of the session, shoot me an email, and I'll try to get those taken care of offline. So, Billing 514 is currently in limited availability testing, or our beta testing period. We have been in this period for a couple of weeks. We're getting good response back from our testers. We're probably about a month out from general availability of Billing 514, but we wanted to take this opportunity to bring you up to speed on some of the changes and the differences that you're going to see in Billing 514. So the agenda items, the things that we are going to cover today, include the new super administrator level of permissions, bill across directories, the remittance processing receipt number, and we're going to talk about the Nemesis Import enhancements that are going on or are available in Billing 514. So let's go ahead. Let's shift over to look at billing. And first, we're going to talk about Super Administrator. Now, for a lot of customers, you're used to having a user account of SUPR. We don't recommend that you've used SUPR on a regular basis. It was more of an administrative account. And for customers who moved from being on-premise installations of Respond Billing to online installations of Tritech.com professional billing, you know that you lost access to that SUPR account when you moved online. So what we have done is, first off, if you're an on-premise customer, after you install 514 and you try to use the SUPR user code and try to log in with that, you're going to get a new prompt that you've never seen before. It's because we are now reserving the SUPR account only for the purposes of Tritech for troubleshooting. And instead, we have made it possible for you to get the equivalent permissions of SUPR on your own security or staff ID. So I'm going to go ahead and get logged into billing as our demo user, and we're going to go into staff codes, and you'll see that if since I am an administrator, but I'm logged in as myself, I don't have the ability to see my own security permissions. But when I want to get that first super administrator assigned into my system, I can call into customer service, and I can run locks and keys and tell customer service that I want to get a new super administrator added. Now, the super administrator feature is available for on-premise installations of Respond Billing, and also available to customers who have Tritech.com professional billing. If you're using the Tritech.com basic billing, then you don't have access to the super administrator feature. So what I want to do is I want to add the super administrator permissions to my staff code, or I could do it to any other staff code that I would select. But we have the demo staff code. I'm going to generate locks, and then I would call customer service and say, hey, I need to get my first super administrator set up. And they would ask you to send in or fax in some identifying documentation, because essentially what we're doing here is the same as resetting. It's the equivalent of resetting a SUPR password. I mean, we're going to let whatever staff code you've entered in here is going to have basically the keys to the castle. So once you've faxed in the documentation, then the customer service rep is going to go ahead and ask you to read the locks that have been entered. And I just can't read and type at the same time, so bear with me while I play both the part of customer and of customer service. And then we get the key. They will read back the keys to you, which are 260, 269, 298, 0, 260, 269, 298, 0, 7, 6. Now, if you have the idea that, you're going to watch this recording and you're going to screenshot that and use these same locks and keys change every time we run it. So I just added a new super administrator. And if I log out of billing now, now if I go back and look at my staff code again, now the security tab is listed, and you'll see that this staff code has super administrator privileges. So that is the new field for the permissions to grant super administrator. You'll note that I don't have any security profiles listed on that. There's just a listing that says the user is granted full permissions to all directories. Now, I mentioned a few moments ago that essentially this is giving the keys to the castle to whoever we made a super administrator, because a super administrator has the ability to grant any other user super administrator permissions. So if I go and were to create a new user, that's a billing user, when I go to the security tab, I have the ability to make that person a super administrator as well. So the whole purpose of having super administrator is, first off, to give you identifiable traceability to who's doing things in your system, and to get rid of that kind of anonymous SUPR login that we've used for years. All right, so super administrator, the key things you need to know about is, if you've been using SUPR, you won't be able to use SUPR anymore after you have installed 5.14, and you will need to call into customer service to get your first super administrator configured. Once you have that super administrator configured, then you can configure other super administrators. You can remove super administrator privileges from other users just by going into their staff code and checking that box or unchecking that box. All right, so that in a nutshell is super administrator. The next feature I want to talk about and show a little bit of is what we call bill across directories. Now, bill across directories is a feature that we've put in place. It doesn't apply to all customers. It primarily applies to customers who have multiple directories. So these would be billing services where they've got a lot of different directories for different customers. And up until 5.14, if you wanted to, if you had 200 customers that you were a billing service, you've got 200 different directories, and you are generating claims, say, to a clearinghouse for all of those directories, you would have to go into each directory and generate the claim file, and then you would have to transmit each one of those claim files. Now you could simplify the generation of the claims somewhat by using Task Scheduler, but we're taking this to a whole new level now with bill across directories. So what you will notice is now on the Create ECM screen, there is a directory filter. So it will default to whatever your current directory is, but if you want, you can select multiple directories, go ahead and select your form, and generate your claims. You will generate one claim file. So even if we are billing for 200 directories, we can generate all of those claims into one claim file, and you just send one claim file. So we eliminate the need to create different sets of parameters in every directory, eliminate the need to use Task Scheduler for running all of those parameters at once, and then more importantly, eliminate the need to go and get every one of those claim files and send them individually to your clearinghouse. Now, I mentioned clearinghouse because in reality, the bill across directories can be used for any payer, or I should say any electronic trading partner, as long as that trading partner is able to accept claims for multiple providers within one electronic data interchange. We are currently working and testing with TriZetto, our preferred clearinghouse. We know it's working just fine for them. There is a little bit of additional configuration that goes along with that, a couple of questionnaire items to get set up for TriZetto. We expect that other clearinghouses may have a similar requirement. And so if you are a billing service and you want to do the bill across directories and you're using a clearinghouse other than TriZetto, or you want to do it to some other trading partner other than TriZetto, get in touch with us so we can work with you and your trading partner to make sure that if there are any additional configurations that we need to put in, that we can do that. But bill across directories is a very simple concept. I mean, it looks like all we had to do was add a directory filter, and to the user, that's really what it appears to be. There's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes in order for bill across directory to function properly. You will note that we talk about it in terms of electronic claims, because that is where a huge amount of the efficiency comes in with the management of all of those files. But you will find that not only in Create ECM do you have the directory filter, but that directory filter is also on Print Itemized Bills and Statements and or Itemized Bills and Forms. We have the directory filter there. We also have the directory filter on print statements. So for paper, if you're printing paper forms out or printing out to a file, once again, we can streamline that process by using bill across directory to run out bills for a single form code across multiple directories with one set of parameters and basically one user action, and eliminates the need to manage all of those different saved parameters and then use them in different tasks. If you are not a multi-directory customer, just using a single directory, then you don't really have to worry about bill across directories. You may see your claim file, your report of claims, or your audit trail might look a little bit different just because we've had to insert some directory information into it, but your day-to-day operation will work out just the same as it always has, and you don't have to worry about that directory filter. All right. So next piece that we want to look at is remittance processing. You know, we haven't done a lot with remittance processing in recent years, but we do have a lot of customers that use it. And one of the pieces of feedback that we've gotten is a need to do something with the receipt number field. And so what we have done, and I will run a quick demo here. I'll import this file and open up that remittance. So the reason that some customers have wanted to be able to populate the receipt number field is largely because we have some billing services or other billing service customers primarily that are maybe have a Dropbox service or Lockbox service that they use, but some payments go directly uh, to the provider, and they needed a method to track the two of those. And one of the pieces of information that is in a remittance file when we receive it electronically is the account number that um, deposit was made to or that it was sent to. And so we're pulling that receiving account number out of the remittance, and we've put it into our RA information at the top, so we can see it's a new column way at the end, tells me what my receiving account is. What we're also doing then is when we go look at the call credits for remittance processing, we've added the receipt number field in, and we are defaulting that receiving account number into the receipt number field. So it would be easy to differentiate between a remittance that was sent to the provider's account as opposed to your internal lockbox account. When I post those credits to the calls, and I will just go open up this one call, the same receipt number gets posted with all of the payment credits. And that's kind of a key thing there. It is the payment credits. So if I look at the credits on this call, you'll note that I have a check number listed on the two payment credits, and now I have the receipt number on the two payment credits. Those credits that were adjustment credits posted from the remittance, they don't get a check number or a receipt number because they are just adjustments. So very simple little process. If you are using remittance processing, you'll see that receipt number field start to populate after you load 514. And when you import your first remittance with 514, you'll see that receipt number field populate. If you wanted to change what the receipt number was going to be for a given remittance, you can go ahead and edit that receipt number field. And then when you post, whatever that receipt number field is set to at the time you post, it will populate the receipt number field on all of those payment credits that get posted. Next up, we're going to move out of billing for just a moment. We're going to talk about the Nemesis Import. We've got a lot of customers who have been coming online with using the Nemesis Import, Nemesis data from various EPCR vendors to import into billing. And so we've made some important enhancements to the control or the features of the Nemesis Import. And I will show how some of these configurations work in just a moment. Those who are using Nemesis Import today know that if we are importing a Nemesis 3 response and there are any attachments on that response in the Nemesis file, we will import those attachments to the call. With 514, you now have control over whether you want those attachments to import or not. We also are granting or enabling control of the creation of payer codes. When we initially created the Nemesis Import, our goal was to get as much information from the Nemesis response into billing as possible. And we've deemed that the policy number was something really important if it was being gathered that we wanted to get into the patient payer data. The problem that we would encounter is that we have to match to a payer code in order for that to happen. So in the Nemesis Import, we allowed the Nemesis Import to create payer codes if it couldn't find a match, so that the patient payer could get populated with that new payer code and the policy number. Now in 514, you'll have control of the creation of those payer codes. We're also now giving optional creation of call sign codes, and the import can optionally create unit codes. Now, those are a couple of really important features for being able to populate more information on the call unit tab. And when I show the configurations that are available on that, I'll explain them a little bit more. A couple of other pieces of information that we've done is we now allow you to select to use the dispatch number as the call number. We've made some changes to unit code matching logic to make that match up, the incoming data match up to your existing unit codes a little better. We have made some enhancements to determine when an incoming response is a duplicate to something you've already imported or that's already in your system. And we're going to populate additional fields importing into the call and patient screen tabs. So let's go take a look at some of these new configurations. If I were going in to set up a new Nemesis import, I do that at the directory level, and then I can set my various default settings. The new settings that we have in 514, first off, for the duplicate or blank call number, as I mentioned, we now have an option to use the dispatch number as a call number. Before, your only options were use automatic call numbering or using the PCR number as a call number. Here is the configuration for the attachments import as to, do I import the attachments or do I strip the attachments out of the call? The next three tabs that we're going to talk about are new tabs for the import settings for Nemesis Import: the unit code tab, the payer code tab, and the EMS call sign code. Now, it's important to note that these tabs are about the import of codes, the creation of codes, not just the ability to fill a field, map the unit code information into the call. So a unit code by default is not going to import. We won't create any codes, but you can choose to allow it to create new codes. And if you're going to allow the import to create new codes, then you have to provide some default information for the parameters around that unit code. The important part about this, especially for billing services, is oftentimes you don't know when a new unit is being created or when a customer gets a new unit. And if you don't get that unit created in billing, then you can't import the unit. And as you know, if you don't have a unit on a call, then you can't have crew members on a call. So we think it'll be really valuable for a lot of customers to allow the Nemesis import to create unit codes if it does not find a match. The payer code option, again, now is going to default to no import. If you want to continue to allow the Nemesis import to create payer codes, then you'll need to go into your settings after you install 514 and say it should allow new codes only. Similarly, EMS call sign also allows you by default no import, but you can choose to allow it to create new codes if it does not find a match. We think that especially with the allowing the import of unit codes, you'll have a lot better functionality with the Nemesis import, because as long as you get that unit in, then the crew member information that we are bringing in can populate on the unit tab on the call screen. All right. I mentioned that we were doing some enhancements to the duplicate call matching. Our existing call matching tended to create a fair number of duplicates. And so the root cause that we found there was auto-numbered call numbers, and that was happening with a lot of ePCR vendors. So now a primary match that we will do is we will attempt to match based upon the agency number and the PCR number. And if we find that, then we'll know that we have a match. If we don't find a matching call, then we'll fall back to our other matching methods to try to avoid duplicates. And lastly, I mentioned that we would be importing some additional elements into call and patient fields. So just quickly, what we have done is the driver's license information will now import on the patient. Patient race and ethnicity information will import. On the call screen, we will import the crew narrative to the crew narrative tab. The CMS service level will populate. The PCR author is going to be populating. We will populate the number of patients transported on the call questionnaire tab. And then we've also implemented some additional identification numbers for the receiving facility, medical record number sending, law enforcement number, and the fire incident number, just to help make better traceability of that call back to other agencies and reports. Now, it's important to note that we will be bringing these elements into these patient and call fields. These elements have previously been available. They are imported into billing. It's just that you can only see them on the Nemesis PCR report that was available for Nemesis 3 imported responses. So I know we've covered a lot of ground on this. Again, the key things for you to know are, you'll have the new super administrator functionality, bill across directory if you are a billing service or a multi-directory customer that can greatly improve your efficiency. Remittance processing got the new receipt field, and then if you're using Nemesis Import, a lot of enhancements coming in 5.14 in that area as well. Again, if you have questions on anything that we covered, go ahead and give an email. You can send it to me at dan.voss@tritech.com, or you can email to emssupport@tritech.com to have them forwarded on, and we'll get those answers out to you. Thank you for joining us today, and we will see you next month.